This video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a website, a domain or an online store, make your next move with Squarespace and use the discount code Andrew Marr. Western Australia is a big state. When I say big, I'm not kidding around. It's 3.5 times the size of Texas and 10 times the size of the UK. So I can literally drive for days and still be in WA. At the end of last year, I did exactly that. I packed the car up and drove north. 2,200 kilometres, around 24 hours of driving, split up over 3 days. When you head north over such a long distance, you notice a few things. It gets a lot hotter and much drier, and you can watch the vegetation change as you move through the different climates. You also pass through some incredible country. This is the Pilbara, which I photographed last year. This is a landscape that continually draws me back, but it wasn't our destination for this trip. Pushing further north, things start to change again. It doesn't get much cooler, however the landscape isn't as dry. But what really stands out is just how vibrant the colours are here. It's like the saturation has been boosted everywhere. And that's what we're here to photograph. Welcome to the Kimberley. We stopped in at Broome and drove down to the beach with the locals for a well-earned beer and to watch the sunset. We then grabbed a couple of supplies and then headed further up the coast for a few days camping. G'day there everyone, and welcome to Broome. It's actually technically not Broome. We're around about 30 k's north of Broome. Now for those guys who are not from Western Australia or Australia, who may not know where Broome is, it's a good 3-day drive, and I mean a solid 3 days, north of Perth, where I live. So we left on Tuesday, drove all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, and then finished off the drive on Thursday. And this evening is Friday. And today has really been the first day that we've managed to get out and explore the area. And it is amazing. I've been to Broome a few times, but never really for a photography trip. So I've come up with Jared Parker, who is on Instagram. I'll leave his link in the description below. And both of us met up with Matt Fields, who has been on the channel before. I'll leave his Instagram link in the description below as well. Now, Matty is from this area. You might recall that he's a chef, and he has had some jobs where he's been based in Broome. He's been in Kununurra recently, exploring the East Kimberleys, but we're on the West Kimberleys at the moment, and I'm loving it. It's really warm. Yesterday was around about 34, last night got down to around about 26, but it was 98% humidity. That's right, 98% humidity. So it was pretty warm and humid outside. I'm just going to put my camera down. So we've been exploring different locations north of Broome, having a fantastic time. We've got the drone up a few times. We've been exploring some of the creeks. We have been very careful about crocs, because there are crocs around here. You've got to be croc wise, as the signs often say around here. And we know that there's a few creeks north of Broome that do have crocodiles in them. But we've been very, very safe, but it's still been fantastic to just explore the place and really get to know it. So we've come down to this beach, and it is north of Barra Creek. You might be able to see the colour behind me, although it might blow out here on the camera. This is a massive beach that we're on. It just seems to go for miles and miles, kilometres and kilometres. So we're exploring these red cliffs, and they're an incredible feature of the landscape around here in Broome. So that's been a lot of fun. The beach has been amazing. There's these amazing textures, just really, really impressive textures. And then I've just walked from where I was, just behind me, there was a reef that was exposed when the tide was out. But unfortunately, the tide was coming in at a fair rate as well, so I was having to rush around and try and find a composition. I really don't think I managed to do that, and the tide was coming in at such a rate, because there's such a massive difference in the tides here. I wasn't able to talk to the camera, unfortunately. And just between you and me, I don't think I'm really happy with the image that I shot, unfortunately. I was hoping that there were going to be some water pools that I was able to feature in the foreground, and what I was hoping for, of course, was some clouds in the sky over here behind these cliffs that was going to catch the setting sun, but unfortunately that just hasn't happened. I do notice that there is way off in the distance there some clouds that are actually currently catching some of the colour of the setting sun. The sun must have set around about 20 minutes, half an hour ago. But unfortunately, I don't have a composition really to show that little bit of sky off. And it's not a massive bit of sky, it's just a little bit of cloud just on the horizon there. We're going to camp actually up on the cliffs here, which is incredible. We're going to spend the night here. We're probably going to have a swim in the ocean just to cool off a bit, and we'll treat that as our shower or bath for tonight. We're going to spend a couple of days up here, so hopefully with a bit of luck there's going to be lots of opportunities where I'm going to be able to get the camera out and we'll get some nice landscape images. I still have my favourite image of the night to share with you, but first I just wanted to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. About 7 years ago, when I was looking at starting a website, I wanted just something simple where I could share my landscape images. I picked Squarespace because of how easy it was to set up, create pages and upload content. As I've grown as a photographer, the site has grown with me. So now not only do I share my images, but I promote my workshops, I share my YouTube videos, I've started a blog, and I also send out emails to people who have subscribed to my newsletter, all through my website. Being able to do all of this on the one platform is so convenient. It's fantastic. You can start your free trial at squarespace.com, where you can check out all the templates and start building pages, no credit card needed. And if you do check them out and you want to go ahead with a website, go to squarespace.com/Andrew Marr to get 10% off your first purchase. So with the incoming tide, I retreated back up the beach and focused my attention on the textures in the sand created by the seawater draining out. These patterns were quite remarkable, with small, fine veins surrounded by deeper veins that had been carved out by the outgoing tide. The challenge was to try and find some order in amongst all this chaos. So to do that, I found two of the deeper veins and put them near the vertical thirds of my composition. So it's quite a simple little composition. I've found myself with these patterns just in front of me. I've got the lens on around about 17 mils, so it's not too wide, but just wide enough. And as we've been speaking, the water has moved probably 20 meters already, so I'm really having to move quite quickly. That's why I'm a little bit distracted. But I'm on f8 because there's not really a lot to get in focus in the background. My shutter speed is 6 seconds, so it's quite long. That means that I've got a long shutter speed for two reasons. There's not a hell of a lot of light at the moment, so that's one pretty good reason. The other is that I wanted a reasonably long shutter speed because any ripples in the water that might be there, I want to make sure that they're nice and smooth and don't distract you in the image. I decided to turn the polarizer on the lens so I was capturing the sunset colours being reflected off the veins that were still soaked in water. I love this effect. It looks like flames coming towards the camera. That's it for this video. I'll be back soon with more photography from the Kimberley. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.